afternoon. This is Malar from Hearts&Minds, of course. And I have my good friend Fuaad Abdul Rahman. But before that, welcome to Being Ho Being Me Series 95 and Selamat Hari Raya. Now, I'm not too sure how many of you have watched the video, but why Fuaad is special. He's serious because he's admiring me. But I want to just go back in time more than 20 years ago. So I joined a training company.
20 years ago?
More than that, 20 years ago. You are old. You're old. And so he was one of the trainers, right? And I was dying to be a trainer. Of course, Fuad is dying to tell the story of how I became a trainer. So one of the weekends, he's one of the best. And I was sitting in his training program over the weekends, right? Every weekend I'm sitting in his training because I want to learn from the guru, right? And as I'm sitting, he looks at me, how he's looking at me. He just he looks. And one day he came to me, he said, Mala, he still doesn't know how to call my name Mala, by the way. And he said, Mala, what are you doing here? And I told him about my dream, my aspiration of wanting to be a great trainer like him. He stared at me, he looked at me, and then he said, oh. And then after the program, what he did was, of course, give me modules, coach me, and let me train. So when I'm training, I'm being compared to someone who's like 10 years my senior in terms of experience, right? And at the end of the training program, we're looking at the evaluation form. And some of them are really honest. They say, can we just have Fuad for the whole day? And so imagine I'm crying there quietly, and he comes to me, he says, well, this is normal. And I've been through this. So just hang in there. One day, you will be as good or better than me. And you think, wow, that's Fuad, right? And at some point, after many, many weekends of training, the client was ready to accept me as a trainer, right? And all thanks to Fuad. But just as we do that, and I'm still co-facilitating, one day Fuad comes to me and says, hey, Malar, you've been working very hard, and now you're good. I think it is only fair that I share my training fee with you. Now, that was shocking for me because this was during the last recession. Can you imagine? He doesn't have enough money himself, and then he tells me he wants to share with me. I must say, I was still wondering why he was doing that, and of course we spoke about it. Now that's when he introduced me. He said, "Our recipe is already predetermined, and I'm very sure that I need to share this with you." It's been more than 20 years. The concept of recipe is something that I anchor in because of Fuad, because I try and remember that anytime I have a gift in life, right, which I think I earned or not, I realize it's predetermined. And one of those things that I try and pause is to see whether I've been fair to other people. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you my friend, my mentor. Cannot say darling because my husband just came on board. My darling too.
My wife too, I hope.
Your wife too, yeah. Fuaad Abdul Rahman, who has shown me how beautiful faith can be and how faith can actually help us to be more human. So if you're there and you are watching this, please put your hands together and welcome Fuaad for me. Okay, that will come down.
Yeah, thank you very much. Wow, there's a lot of nice words and kind words about our journey. But actually, it's if I were to look back then, I realized that when you were sitting in the room, your eyes was glittering, and you can read the sign that you wanted to be a speaker or a trainer during that period of time. Only that you need a break. And I guess most trainers or I call it consultant then a bit worried, trying a new person or given a chance because you will read your evaluation.
Mm.
But if you don't give anybody a chance, you never know their full potential.
True, but you see, I think Fuad, you giving me an opportunity as I grow older, I realized that not everybody does that. So I was very blessed because I had very good people showing me what it means to have an abundance mentality. But I think what you did for me is that you didn't show me an abundance mentality because you had a lot, right? So just to give a background, this was in 98, 98, and there was a financial crisis, and we were training, and we were just we were not salaried. So training is the first industry to be affected, and we
Yeah.
were already running dry. A lot of people were losing their jobs, and so you're looking at a time where you've just come out of probably drought of no work to having some work, right? And I know you're not a millionaire
Yeah.
then. Okay.
Can-
So for you to actually think, right? Because I didn't need to be paid. I didn't want to be paid. I remember having that argument with you because I said I didn't want to be paid. All I was looking for was an opportunity to put myself up there so that I can practice and I can be coached.
Yeah.
Right? We won't talk about all the times you scolded me and I cried, but we won't talk about that. But and for one to give you that opportunity and then to say, hey, you know what? You've actually earned it. You've actually worked for it. I want to share what could actually be mine because you don't need me. I need you. Like, so where did you, or do you remember what makes you think that way?
I guess even now, I like to look at people behavior. There are those who really need the break. What in whatever area they wanted to. If you have the opportunity, then you want to, you know, you want to help them. As much I've been helped by so many people,
Okay.
but sometimes people have easy life. In your case, maybe easy life. In my case, when I become a trader, partly because there was not enough trainer to handle the the project that we get from one of the big organization in Malaysia. So I was forced into that. That's why I went through the process of being belittled, looked down by the coordinator and so forth. That's why when you show the tendency of wanting to be one, it's much more safer if I help you to actually uh, try it out whether you fit in because something that we like might not be good for you. So from there you guide it on. So in life, I think sometimes you need to give people a break, and I also believe this: the more you give, the more you'll get.
Hmm. Has it been true for you?
Yeah, true. Uh, Now I'm hoping it's going to be what we call it, even in a bigger, what we call it, bigger amount, bigger figures. If what I'm working on now become a reality.
Is it if or when? I think it's a when now. Okay,
Yeah.
if that can. All right. So Fuad was a consultant trainer, and of course, yes, he's my chibu, and he's also an entrepreneur now, and trying to create a lot of business opportunities for people. But for today, it is the eve of Hari Raya, so thank you so much for joining me and us, and thank you for being who you are, right?
Yeah.
And as I say that I think what has impressed me a lot, I only have amazing Muslim friends.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. All my Muslim friends are great practitioners of Islam, and they mirror to me how beautiful life is in Malaysia, right? And you were one of the first one I would say who grounded me with a lot of your thinking because you allowed me to talk to you openly, argue with you openly, and have conversation. And today, as we're sitting here on the eve of Hari Raya, right, help us to understand what does faith mean to you?
When I'm much younger, I think when I look at faith, I tend to look at it from a religious point of view.
Okay.
And one of the pillars of Islam it says you've got to believe in God, you've got to believe the unseen, you also got to believe in Qadar and Qadar. What does that mean? Is that everything that's happened, and will happen is all ordained by God.
Okay.
But as I grow older, or I should say, as I become mature, all right.
Become wiser.
Anyhow, I'm in my 60s, right? So things start to change, I still remember one of my mentor in terms of author, speaker is Dr. Wayne Dyer. When I was younger, when I first looked at it, reading his book, it was way back in 1994. And I see his transformation. During that, his transformation, it triggers a lot of questions to me. Once upon a time, you follow the transformation of Dr. Wayne Dyer. He started with a very gung-ho kind of motivation approach. You can do this, you can do that. But as he progressed into his later years, he took a different role, more towards spirituality. In one incident, he said he just woke up early one morning and just called his secretary and said, sell everything that I have and give it away. And as a trainer, we always have this certain book that we like, certain accolades that we collect. We like to keep as a remembrance or something like that. But when he started giving it away, I asked this question: this guy is crazy. Then I do realize, as I progress in my life, that actually what is ours is not ours. It was given to us.
Okay.
Right? If you don't use it wisely, you know what happened? Like when Dyer have this beautiful thing say, we come from nowhere. Yeah, you look at the spelling, nowhere, N-O-W-H-E-R-E. But now, here, we are here on planet Earth. The same spelling, but it's a different spacing, is N-O-W-H-E-R-E. Now we are here. But when we move on into a different dimension, we are nowhere again. We come with nothing and we're going to go off with nothing. So why we are so possessive in sharing? Now, when we talk about sharing, a lot of people just talk about money, material thing, but knowledge also sharing, advising those younger people about what life is. So therefore, I believe faith in a spiritual world. We talk about sustenance. How do you live your life fully? Right? Just being you.
Wow, that's exactly what we're saying. Being wholly. Okay. Right?
Excuse me. Okay.
All right. Thank you. And so it's interesting, right? You said how your faith started off within certain frame of what we would call religious, right? What we don't understand, but we show obedience. And from obedience, you said, over the years, what has happened for you is that it has transformed. All right. And as it transforms, you're also saying what I'm hearing from you is, it's really the way we live our life.
True.
Right? And the way we live our life, from what you are saying, is that how to be our best self.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're trying to now connect how to be our best self, live our best life. All right. Now, how does faith come into play? And I think how to be your best self and best life, for example. Would you consider that part of being part of your spirituality?
Yeah. If you understand that life, they say you have only one chance in life. There's no, if you attend any competition, especially in the world level like Olympic, they have first hit, second hit, third hit, before they go to the final. But in life, you don't have any, what do you call it?
No next chance.
Yeah, you only have one
life.
One life, and then if you get it wrong, you get it entirely wrong. You get it right, you are lucky. But then again, like they were used to say about, if you believe in faith, I mean everything is preordained by God.
Okay.
There's a story about this preordained. A lot of people question, then if everything is ordained or the will of God, then why should we do anything?
No need to try now.
Yeah. But then there is a story that I learned from a very wise man when I think that is about 10 years ago or 12 years ago. And when we were talking about choices, he asked me, "Do you really believe that you have a choice?" I said, "Of course." Because from my understanding about life, then he asked me a very pertinent question from a Muslim perspective. He said, "Do you know what was created before the universe?"
Mm.
So it was challenging because I thought if you use on the theory of the Big Bang, the topic God says, it just happened.
Mm.
Or we talk about from the Islamic point of view, God say kun fayakun and the whole universe was created. I think in a Christian point of view, they talk about God created the world or the universe in 7 days. Yeah. So, but when he asked me to go, what was created first, I said it got to be the universe. But he said, no, no, no. According to some understanding that I discovered was, they say God created, in Arabic they call it kalam. Okay, it can refer to books and also pen.
Oh,
yeah. Before the universe was created, according to a scholar, he was saying 50,000 years before the universe was created, God created a pen, the first one creation of God. And he instructed the pen to write from the beginning of time to the end of time. And then the pen start writing in the Malay environment, they will say, they use tujuh tinta lautan to write from the beginning of time to the end of time.
Mm.
When it's finished writing and they say it was lifted and they say God said kun fayakun, everything was created. So now the question was, even I was asking you, if that's true, then we just need to live our life the way it is. Yeah, but a lot of us don't believe in that. They say you have faith, but sometimes we love. I think being human being, we like to use reasoning, we like to control the situation. You know, what happened will happen whether you like it or not.
Mm. So I'm confused still. That's why I'm still your student now. Okay. So on one hand, you're saying have faith, things are predetermined, and there's an order of life already written, right? On one hand, you're saying that. On the other hand, you're saying live your best life. Seize the opportunities is what I'm hearing, right? Because that's how the best of you comes true. If you live, not when you just stay there and wait for things to happen, right? So, and if things are already predetermined, is it already predetermined that I'm going to give my best? Some people will give their best and some people won't.
This is something very, what do you call it, a topic that a lot of people, if they are not mature enough, they might find it offensive. I'll give you one example.
Mm.
I was born in Segamat, Johor.
Mm.
My wife was born in Tampin, Negeri Sembilan. We did not know the existence of each other.
Okay.
But in 1983, I think, if I'm not mistaken, uh, my boss, those were the days where managers hire their own staff. You know, it's locally, not centered in the headquarters and so forth. So I remember those days the way we hire people is looking at the best staff and then ask them to refer their friends to the with the understanding that if you are hardworking, chances are your friend also will behave the same way. This is what we call referrals. So I spoken to one of my friend and that friend spoke to my wife, now my wife, whether she want to work in a bank.
Sorry, hold on a what? People are saying they can't hear.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, maybe we will just I'm
Our
just going to bring it a
race-
bit closer. Thank you very much for telling us. Is it better, Lee? Is it better, Silver Balan? Is it better? Yeah, tell us whether it's better. Sorry, now you can go to the story, but we look out there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then she just finished her SPM and subsequently she decided to come and work in Segamat, OCBC. And that's how I first met her.
Mhm.
And you know what? To make things more a reality that I need to meet her because why? I'm going to marry her and have 3 lovely children. Oh, by the way, my wife's name is Wan Rosni.
Kak
I love her
Roslin,
dearly.
Kak Roslin, you know what your husband is trying to do. Okay,
Yeah.
so what you're saying is that things are predestined, like in a way that when you look back now, you realize how your life was choreographed. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's why if you follow what we call it is Steve Jobs,
Mm.
the founder of Apple, you see you cannot connect the dot looking forward. You've got to look back and you start connecting the dot.
Nice.
So when even in the project we're working together now in Sarawak, I didn't know the project owner, Datuk Sham, in my entire life until the year I think 2013.
Mm.
By coincidence, we just bumped because my friend invited to attend one of their seminars.
Mm.
And then from there on, we get close together. And now I'm so proud helping him, a great guy, to actually try to realize a big project in Sarawak.
Mm.
And if you look back, then you see, hey, he was born in Sarawak. I was born in Johor. There's no not knowing each other exists, but God got created one incident
For us to meet.
so that we will cross.
So what you're basically saying is what I mean, at least some of us believe, which is no, we don't meet anybody by accident. There is no event in our life which is an accident, and they are predestined. But while it's predestined, how do we make the best out of it? I think is what
That's why if you follow any religious teacher or spiritual teachers or masters, they always say that one of the best things that you can do is having gratitude.
Mm.
If you're a good guy, you'll be thankful for all the blessing you have. But never look down on people. If you look at let's say a criminal, a lot of people like to condemn them and judge them. You know what? But do you realize that because of him being bad, a lot of people actually have been blessed by work. For instance, the police, the prison warden, the judges, the lawyer, because he's one guy character, right? Which is ordained again by God. That's why we should be gratitude if we are doing the good things. See, blessing. If somebody is doing the thing that we might not like to, we just pray that one day God will change, have different plan for him or her. But unfortunately, I think a lot of us like to become the judge in our life. Who is bad, who is good.
So what you're saying is that what we are, while we want to live our best life, don't judge other people because they're just living their life.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
A bit.
like Mother Teresa, you see, if you can see that God presents Himself in every living thing, then you realize whatever people behave is preordained, is the director of our life. So we are lucky. You watch a movie, do you realize sometimes when you watch a movie, the director will create a good guy and a bad guy because no movie without a bad guy or a good guy character is going to be interesting. You got to have that dark side and
Yeah, when you don't have the dark side, there's no need for light, no appreciation for light, right? It's when you're sick, you appreciate when you're healthy, right? It is when you have experienced having no money that you experience then the positive side of it. Without you can't appreciate one without the other is what I'm hearing. But before that, let me just welcome some people who said hello. Hi, Amar. Hi, Anil. Anil says, Mr. Fuad has touched and changed many lives. Thank you, sir. Yes, Anil, I agree with you. Hi, Raj. Thank you for saying hello from Ipoh. Hi, Coleman. Thank you for letting us know that the chat wasn't clear, and I hope it's clear. Lee, thank you very much again for coming in and telling us. And Silver Balan, thank you for confirming. At any point, if it's not clear, please let us know because I think we have a short conversation and it'll be a good conversation. And if you have any question for Fuad, just put it up in the chat so that we can bring it up with him while he is sharing his faith with us. Now, tell me, how do you? So we spoke about faith. We spoke about how things are predetermined, predestined, and how within the predestined idea of what it has already been written for us. We are trying to be the best versions of ourselves. So it's I don't think it's an easy concept, but it is really a concept that probably challenges the kind of things that we like to believe in education. Okay,
Yeah.
on one hand, you can berserah. You're saying, okay, give it, lift it up, right? On one hand, berserah. On the other hand, we're saying, oh, but we're getting more education. We can control outcomes, right? And so it's a tough balance, I would say, okay? Because I do believe, and at least it's my belief, is that when we become more educated, so again, going back to the concept of choice, right? What do empowered people believe? When you're empowered, you believe you have more choice. I mean, we even think we are getting into a space where we think we can create human beings, right? Kita tengok macam mana, but let's not go there. But we are creating more and more things, and we feel that we have more and more control.
Superiority.
Control first, right? Like I can control everything. Now, if things are predestined, then looks like one, you already say I got no choice, which is so sad. Right? I've always believed I had a choice. I have a choice how I show up, but I don't have choice over the outcomes. Do I have a choice over the outcomes? No, right?
Nobody knows. This is where I think it requires a lot of understanding and maturity, because the question about faith or preordained will put a lot of people on the edge. You know? For instance, whenever I look back into my life, when I come from a very small town in Johor called Segamat, and on top of that, we are considered the poorest among the villagers, and life is not easy. And then later on, I discovered my mother, because of the hardship, she actually tried to abort me. Okay? That's why I was sick and ill when I was younger age. But unfortunately, because I'm ordained, I guess, to be alive, to touch so many lives subsequently, I survived. And I still remember, younger days, a lot of people, a lot of critics, my uncle, my auntie, my friends, they always like to say, you got no future, your life is bleak, because I didn't go to the varsity, I have the opportunity because of money. But the struggle that I go through, I was just born lucky just to make sure that this thing happened. I used to tell my children and my young team, in this project, I was saying that if God have sent me to the university, or allow me to, if my parents sent me to the university, I think I'll become more arrogant in the sense that I'm educated, so I should deserve this, I should deserve that. Unfortunately, because I go through the rank and file, building myself, and I was blessed with difficult leaders or managers then, but who loves me. Every time they scold you, and I got this habit of asking the question why you scold me, and then they start explaining, and you're learning from there. And one of the things that I discovered is we like to confine learning in school and university, but actually life is the biggest university in our life. Every day something happening in our life that present itself for us to learn, but we never ask the question why. Give you an example. I mean, I was used to ask by one guy, how do you communicate to God? Through your prayer. Right. Then he asked me another question which puzzled me, which start me on the journey of spirituality. Then how God speak to you?
How?
Through the incident that happened in my life, good, bad. We like to say bad experience, good experience. I like to say it's just an experience for you to learn. For instance, during the bad time in 1998, one of the learning point that I have, you know that financial stress can actually lead people to commit suicide.
Yes.
I went through that process. I was about to do that for my family. So then I realized, but again, I have a conversation with you. I say you can test me the I mean, you can test me, but do give me some hope. And true enough, it slowly I was coming back, meeting you, we have the lovely journey together. And once that happened, you will actually understand that if you take life as like one of my spiritual masters, Dr. Edison, go with the flow. Because once you go with the flow and just observing what do you call it, signal from God, what you need to do, and you just focus and doing the right thing, I think you'll get to your destiny.
Which is already predetermined. Okay, so hi JJ has joined us. Hi Gerald has joined us. Good afternoon. If you've just joined us,
a lot of families.
Yeah.
That's my daughter.
Yeah,
Hi.
Farah. Hi Aya and Auntie Malar. Hi Farah. So Farah, you can say things about your father in public now, okay? But before that, right? So it's really very interesting because we are really talking about faith that is almost in some ways invisible, but it comes through the choices that we make over the choices that we don't have. Yeah, we're making choices, yet we believe we have choices, but it looks predestined, right? But I want to go back to what you said. So when things are predetermined and we go with the flow and we are trying to live our best lives, you spoke about sustenance, and that's something I absolutely love about you because, and like what you said, right? We've just come out of a pandemic. I perfectly understand what it means to have financial constraints and strains, especially when you have a family. And I'm sure people who are in the space at some point in our life, we would have either experienced real financial constraint or perceived financial constraint. When you don't know how to say enough, kan? Right? You walaupun ada semua, but you really feel like I could have more, and when I can't have more, I think I don't have enough. Right? So help us understand, right? When you talk about the concept of rizki, right? I find a lot of my Muslim friends, my brother, who's also an amazing Muslim, who, and you were the first one who used the word rizki as sustenance, right? That you're provided for, and I know, it's like, I remember, sometimes when my friends, Muslim friends, right, when they have children, you say having children is rizki, but on one hand, you do know that when we think about children, sometimes we think that, hey, you have children, you have more expenses. So help us understand rizki in the context of what it really means, so that we all can take home something for Hari Raya, even though kita tak puasa, tapi kita puasa. Right? Help us understand rizki and sustenance.
Because a lot of us believe, we human beings, from our own understanding, that we like to plan and control our life. But for instance, the pandemic recently, a lot of people are doing so well before the pandemic. But whoever imagine that the lockdown will happen, not only in Malaysia, around the world, and for so long, and it affects a lot of us. I think this is one way of what we call it, cleansing. Do you know? That's why I say, when you want to understand about spirituality or faith, you need to have a lot of understanding and knowledge, and so you need to learn, in the sense. Okay, give you an example. Look at the economic. Remember, I was planning to do one of the financial company who wanted us to help the agent to understand what is the economic cycle. Do you realize that in our, again, we're talking about pre-audit, there's a 12-year cycle of the economy.
Okay.
So, but all of us are only thinking about the boom. But actually, there's actually 4 cycles. We call it. It started with a boom. Then we call now we're going through a recession, and I think somewhere the next couple of months we're going to go through the slump. Okay, and then the next cycle will be recovery, and then it goes boom again. So I tested this theory, and we tracked down, the slump in Malaysia. As far as I can remember, in 1986 was the first one, the first recession. Because I still remember I started working. The next one, 12 years after that, is 1998, right? 12 years after that is 2010.
You mean 1986 is when you said? 86, okay.
98.
I wasn't born then.
Yeah. And then the next one was 2010.
Yeah.
You realize what happened in the US, and they call it Great Financial Crisis. And then next one, if you add on from 2010 to what do you call it, by 12 years, 2022, you just actually confirm going to the slum. Now things will get more challenging, right? Because that's how I've been ordained. Now the challenge, somehow learn the hard way, somehow learn the easy way. The hard way is when we have a lot of money, we start collecting a lot of material things. Like not enough one car, we need to have two cars. Not enough driving a what do you call it, Proton, you want a BMW 7 Series. When the lockdown happened, you know, how many of us actually struggling to meet our monthly obligation? And then how many of us during that period also realize something, during good times, you better start saving. So it depends on how you look at things and you learn from it. So you're more prepared for the next cycle. But then again, it's preordained. You know, in one of my dreams, actually, if you can ask my wife, I got this one collage written there, I want to be a millionaire. And then I realized one thing, that as I grow older, the time was very specific. You know, you learn Anthony Robbins and all these great motivators. They see you put a date, and anything, as the more you think about it, will happen. And then when I cross 40 and then I cross 50, you know, it doesn't happen. So I was wondering. Then I do believe it's preordained. If I'm not going to be the millionaire I wish to be, but I could be an agent to help other people to become millionaire, then so be it. You know, if I can't be a millionaire, my children can become a millionaire through a certain you know, effort that we do, that I do, or I participate in it. So be it. This is where they call it, you got to learn to have the acceptance as well as the gratitude. If you're not meant to be, you're not meant to be. But how many of us are trying to plan and control everything that happens in our life? I give you one example, a good example. When the children are created, right, the mom, the husband and wife get together, right, and then they what do you call it, and then the process starts. When the sperm meet the egg, the whole process will start. You remember the first 9 months, it's all in the hand of God. The cells start multiplying by itself, and then they start growing hair, hands. But the one moment the baby is born, you know what happened to the parents? Now say, thank you, God, now I control. Can you control a child? Have it ever occurred? I was not lucky. I've only, there's two of us in the family, me and my sister. But I realized that those who have a lot of siblings, you know, they always ask this question, why my brother is not like me? My sister is not like me. But actually, they have the same mother and father. Have you ever considered why? Because I believe every one of our children have their own life path to follow. But being a father, if I'm a doctor, I want my children to be a doctor. But actually, you never know. It could be a singer, it could be an actor, or anything. So, go with the flow and just relax. Because
so it's difficult for a control freak, a mom like me, to handle it. But I'm going to say hello to your kawan. Hi, Anita. We're not going to talk about Arlington Cemetery now, okay? I know he's going to laugh at this. But hi, it is the first time she really joined, okay? Hi, Anita.
Hi, Anita.
Anita says,
you still remember you in Arlington Cemetery?
Enough. Hi, Dina. I didn't know Dina knows Fuad. Dina says, hello, Fuad. Been a while. Hi, Neelam. And Anand Beer says, absolutely humbling listening to Fuad and his views. Thank you for sharing. Truly an amazing guy. God bless. I'm still trying to find out how amazing he is. Thank you, Anand B. Anand B. Now, so you're telling us a lot of, like, at least you're telling me a lot of difficult concepts. So you're saying have faith, believe, live your best life, but don't control, because it's being controlled elsewhere. The remote control is actually somewhere else, and we're probably in a virtual world thinking that we are controlling it. Actually, because it's predestined, you are thinking and believing that you are the creator of these outcomes.
No. I used to think that way.
No. So, for example, I'm thinking, like my children, right? I'm thinking, whatever I do is going to impact my children in terms of the outcomes, who they're going to turn out to be. But you're saying that that's already predetermined. You're just being the vehicle or the person God is using. Is that what you're saying?
I think if you look into your life, I think you have some experience of this. If you look at the family, they're so poor, broken family.
Mm.
You have this idea of well, their children will be as poor as their parents because they don't have the opportunity. But sometimes you realize one or two of them suddenly become great doctors, engineers, and they have different kind of life.
Mm.
Why is that so?
Mm.
From our understanding, if you come from a broken family, a poor family, then you tend to be poor. Or have you ever also seen, I think, in our life that rich people who take care of their children well, proper education, and finally they ended up drug addict, criminal. Why? If they are given the right exposure, the right education, they should become somebody. So in other words, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't mean where you come from will determine your future. But if I go even higher in terms of spirituality, what you're going to be in the future is purely. Like for instance, in my case, although if I were to look back during that period of time, I just hated all my bosses that loved me. I was in the audit, I was in treasury, especially in audit. I hated writing reports because I'm from a Malay medium. And I used to be laugh at my manager, I think for Aisha, which is still around. When I write my report, because I'm from a Malay medium, writing a report, and if in financial situation it's always English, I get my tenses screwed up and so forth. I just say, you know what, my daughter write better English than you. How do you feel that? Of course, you get frustrated. You learn.
Nice.
Yeah, and now today, when I become a trainer, a consultant, I mean, that is one of the important, skill that I learned during the difficult times that support me until today. I can write anything I want to write, just need very basic understanding.
Nice. So I think what you're saying over and over again is this, right? Make the best out of opportunities. Look at every event in your life as a learning experience and have faith because it will go with the flow. Have faith, give your best, go with the flow because your life is predestined. Your choices have been made for you, right? And you will be taken care of. Now, Mr. Chu Hokun is asking,
Hi,
oh
Chu.
my gosh, which is more powerful? Faith, faith as to nasib, and faith, kepercayaan, belief. If you believe in faith, that is a faith-based belief. Oh, you. Okay.
Mr. Chu.
Mr. Chu, okay.
Another melancholy.
Yeah, melancholy. Which is more powerful, faith, nasib,
I think-
berserah, as to berserah pada nasib, or believe that all will turn out okay?
How do you define okay?
Ayo.
Good. That's why I say we like to label experience as good and bad. But actually, just an experience.
So what you're saying is that you got to believe, percaya, as to faith, that whatever that's happening to you is a life experience and give your best of your life to it. Is that what you're saying?
I like if I have to take on from Chu, faith means it's preordained. But faith is believing that things will be better. And what we human beings have is a new hope. Things will get better.
Okay, we've got faith now, then we've gone to hope. We believe everything will be okay, which is hope. Of course, I will add on love, right? Because it's only with love you can do good things that's good for you.
Actually, love is a very big word. A lot of people say, I love you in terms of male and female. But when you talk about love, it's encompassing a lot of things. Trust, faith, belief.
Okay, we need another session for love. Chu Hakun says people need faith because faith scares them.
Okay, I hope this will help people to understand. A lot of us, especially those are inclined toward religious, right? We always believe in heaven and hell. and everybody wanted to go to heaven. I guess from the narration from our scholars and so forth, they say heaven have this, heaven have that. And for the Muslim, they say if you what do you call it? Shahid, you get 70 virgins. They keep looking at the 70 virgins. That's why they want to go heaven. But to me, is that if you are perpetually living a hellish life in this present moment, do you think you go to heaven in the hereafter? I'm a bit doubtful. Correct. I like to look at it from this angle. This is my own understanding. You might agree or disagree. You come from a very loving family. The outcome or the sibling or the children or the members of the family, you actually learn to love, more towards their environment, name it human being, their environment, and so forth. But if you come from a very broken family, if you're not careful, after you see everybody is your enemy. This was a good learning point for me. While I was doing training, I think one of the training that I did for Lion Group, I think Lion Rotary, right? And all the children that coordinating for the orphanage was so peaceful. They are talking about 17 years old, 15 years old children, they are so peaceful and quiet. And then I have an opportunity to talk to them, why they're so different. You look at normal teenage, they are a bit rowdy sometimes, they are rude and so forth, but they are well mannered. So when I speak to them, I was told and I realized that their parents introduced them to the orphanage, rumah anak yatim, when they are very young. Instead, some of them were sharing with me, instead of birthday, they receive present, the parents buy the present to be given away on their birthday. So that somehow changed their perspective on life. So they're so peaceful, helpful, and so forth. So I was thinking, it depends how you look at it.
So again, have an enhanced perspective.
Yeah, that's why I said enjoy your life. If you're in a difficult time now, I still remember in 1990, we were struggling. You can speak to my wife when money is so tight, and we learn together how to actually, try to survive, in that environment by working together, communicating to each other. If you used to eat orang kata beras mati, for instance, it's so expensive. Then we learn to feed ourselves with beras hancur. As long we have food on the table. Because to me, the most important thing in life is survival.
Right.
If you can survive another day, there's another fight. But unfortunately, a lot of people would like to look 5 years from now. And, some people, they realize they even buy the driving license, they pay for the fee of the driving license for 5 years. They're very confident they're going to live the next 5 years.
Okay.
I'm not sure if tomorrow will be.
No, I'm also not sure, but I have it 5 years so because I don't want to forget. All right. Kulwanko says, blessed to have Abang Fuad as my big brother. You abang kepada ramai orang. He introduced me to Personality Plus. Of course, he's got the plus in him, even though he's a melancholy and never change. Okay, Habib. I don't know if this is my Habib or not. Is it my Habib? My Habib. Yeah. Is he thinks my Habib? Are you my Habib? My Habib is my one and only brother. He said, well said, Fuad, nice topic, Malar. My first session he ever attended. Okay. How couldn't you? Are you MU supporter prefer hell? It seems. Are you're giving me problem with the MU supporters? Okay, I'm neutral, guys. Habib
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay, good. You're safe. I'm safe. Habib says, I think it's my brother. My brother says we can change our faith by increasing our faith. Oh, I love you. We can change our faith by increasing our faith. I love it. So even though you are hell, you can be in heaven.
How do you explain this? I'll give you one good example. Yeah.
Okay, last good example.
Our project is supposed to start in 2020.
Can I give the context of it? Because that's my last question. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, because I know that can you come this side?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So Fuad was sharing one of his dreams, which is actually to start a project, right? And that's Dr. Sham that he was talking about. And I know when he spoke to me, and some people who asked me, why are you in this project?
Yeah.
Or and some people were asking very logical question. Are you sure this will work? I remember this, right? Whoever I spoke to on this project was interested. I only said one thing, and I can say this again. My brother is here. I said, I trust Fuad. I have faith in Fuad because I know his intentions are good. That's all I know. I don't know whether it's going to work. I don't know whether it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I trust you. And I never asked you any question, right? If I can, I can. And I think all the people who came through my brother and in the group that we belong to, that's the only thing I said. I said, you just have to come if you trust and if you have faith, because I trust Fuad, because
Yeah.
I know you. I
Correct.
know you. I believe you. And for me, if the project doesn't happen, that's because really by faith it was not meant to happen, right? But tell us a little bit about the story of faith, because I think this is a testimony of your
Yes.
faith. So tell us a little bit about how long, when it was supposed to come through, how long you've actually patiently waited.
I think the project was established 2015, and after a long wait, I think 2020. I still remember after my daughter's Farah's wedding, I flew to Kuching to do the final presentation. So happened it was on the 14th of February, so I can remember it. And when we did the final presentation to the top team of the state government, and it was scheduled to launch in July 2020. This is where you talk about faith and faith, faith and faith. Okay? When we were so excited, I'm very excited because we have waited for what, 5, 7 years, 6 years, or something like that. And we fly back in KL end of February with a lot of ganggu, whatever we wish for is going to happen in July 2020. You know what happened? When we touched down in KL in March, I think somewhere in early March, there was a lockdown.
18th of March.
Yep, I still remember. And then we were upset, of course. But then again, I do believe this. Some of our family, for agency family, I think some of you are on the line now. I think if you are fated that your name should be in the project, something must happen that make it realistic, which the mind can accept, during that period. And I think, from just me, Mother, I think we are about 30 of us in the project. Now our family have grown to about 140 to 160 people participating. So I presume it might sound a bit ridiculous here. If God say, hey, these people have not come in, they have not checked in, so it must be something. That's why it was delayed. Because all of you need to be in the project. Thank you for supporting and trusting us. And you know what? Hopefully it's just around the corner. When it happened, I think all of us will understand if the numbers is like what do you call it, when I was working in a bank as a chief cashier, when you open the vault, right, you must have a three sequence, right? The left, the right, and you must be precise. If you miss by a click, you can't open the safe. Right. So the same thing in life. If the project does not have all the names required, it cannot take off.
Well, that actually concludes back to where we first started, and that's what you told me. When I said, "Hey, why do you want to share your salary with me?" Basically, right? Because you were paid by project, and I remember this is exactly what you said. You said because your name, this Rizaki, that money that we're getting, I think your name is in it. That's what you told me. And what you're telling me now is that you believed in a project in 2015. It is only beginning to come to realization in 2023. That is 8 years.
Yes.
And I know what you've been through in 8 years, right? And when you and so this is how you're looking at life, right? We want something as people. Things don't happen, but you are saying, well, it will happen in God's time, in God's, I don't know if I can use the word perfection. And in this case, is that what you're saying is that maybe the project didn't come through because the people whose Rizaki is supposed to belong in this project, maybe the list is not complete, is what you're saying. Because if you're meant to be, you would be in it. And sometimes you're out of it because you were never meant to be. You accidentally got in and you got out. Is that what you're saying?
And one of the famous quote that I really like to quote from my project leader, Datuk Sham, is that he used to say this: "We plan for it, and God plan." And you know whose plan will
God's
yes. So in other words, if your name is not there, something must happen to include your name. If those are movie goer, I guess you have. I think you have watched the film called Destination, or something like that. The story you have not? No.
You tell me Tamil movie, I can tell you.
I think in that movie is simple. Sometimes people just escape death. They're supposed to board this plane, they didn't board it. And then you know what happened? The plane crashed, everybody died except them. And you know what? After that, every one of them who is alive been hunted. So in other words, I was saying in life is as such, you need to complete the whole combination before it starts. And whose will is that? Not ours. It's God.
All right. So as we end this, I don't even know whether I've got my answer, but I do know that I have faith, and faith has brought me to where I am today. I won't say I deserve all the blessings in my life, so I shouldn't complain about what I don't like. So but it's people like you who do things, I would say, that's not so normal in the human race of wanting to be successful, where we are reminded of what a speck of dust we are, right? And in this conversation, and for me, this is a very special episode for me, because I just wanted to introduce you to the world for what you've done for me, nothing else, right? And it'd be lovely to talk about a lot of other fun stuff. And so, thank you very much. As we end this, what would you like to tell people who are listening? You know, people who might be in the group, who may not be in the group. But I think what's really interesting is it is Eve of Raya. What would be your message of faith and sustenance that you want to leave people behind? Because you don't know who's listening, and how your voice can reach out to people, on faith.
When we talk about faith or belief, you know, there's some. If it's pre-ordained, we do not know what's the result. But it's a parting point words I can share. Me and my family, my children, we have this motto in life. You know? Be kind, be happy.
Okay.
All right. We always believe that you be kind, happy. Now, you need to understand kindness and niceness is two different things.
Okay.
Niceness is you please people. You say things to please people. That is not kind. Kind means what need to be said because why? The truth must be there, but in the right way. Okay? Once you are kind, then you can be happy. If you're trying to be nice, I don't think you can be happy. So what I'm trying to say is live your life and let's just look at the blessing around us, the good things, the good friends I have. You know, if you can just embrace that, you know, I think life will be beautiful. Whether it's fated, not fated, like the Ogwe and the Cook, Kung Fu Father say, it happened, it doesn't matter. But you know, you just live your life a step, a day, a minute, and try to maintain that being kind and happy. That's what I'm teaching my children to abide by in their life, as well as what do you call it? The other thing I'd like to share with you, which I think really love this analogy by Dr. Sham. Sometimes he makes me crazy, like I'm making you crazy as well. He was saying, if you make an effort on your own, when you make a wrong decision, you feel miserably, you know? You'll struggle miserably. But if you work in a community, you know, like for instance, if you're a millionaire and you want to do a business worth $1 million and you put your 1 million, if that decision is wrong, you lose your 1 million, right? But you have 10 millionaires, which all of you are successful, and then that project that you want to embark in, you're not sure whether it's good or bad,
need 1 million. So every one of you all just need to come out with 10% is of 100,000. If the project fail, everybody is still standing. So that's why I always encourage my children, my those who knows me, like work in the community, don't be selfish because you never know, the day you tumble down for a while. If you have good community and family and friends, they'll pick you up when you are down. And that's my parting word. Be kind and be happy.
Nice. So with that, I hope you will understand why I love Fuad, because he says all these really nice things to keep humanity alive. But I must say that in the years that I know him, he's he's a living testimony of faith for me. I've seen how difficult your life has been, and to see how faith has served him, his faith has served him, and how he generously shares his abundance with people has always inspired me. So, for those who've joined us, thank you very much for joining us, for supporting us, for putting up your comment. Remember to subscribe to our channel so that we can bring more Fuads into life. It is 95. So as you subscribe and have a great holiday, I wish everybody to be safe and have a great holiday. For my Muslim brothers and sisters, especially my brother Habibullah, Selamat Hari Raya and maaf saya lambat. All right, thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.